I told myself I wasn't going to do this TikTok, and then here I am. I'm doing it because I guess that's the life I lead. Um, I just thought it might be worth mentioning that 5 years ago, on this very day, is when I took care of my first COVID patient in the ICU where I work. And I don't really talk about that time, like, at all, at all. But I do think it's sometimes good and appropriate to appreciate forward progress. And so, here's a quick recap. Basically, March 2020, everything went so badly. And I have to use a lot of euphemisms, so this is going to get by TikTok because you know how they are about certain words. Anyways, by April of 2021, I felt like a factory farm worker because when people weren't getting better, we just kept watching them pass, which was emotionally devastating. You know, as a nurse, you expect to get a few wins, and we did not have very many. And that is not because of the quality of our nursing care, it was because we wound up seeing the sickest of the sick, and they were not destined to survive. And yeah, so at that point in time, I had a massive mental breakdown. I was like, why am I taking care of people here, trying to keep them alive when I personally am not that invested in the concept? I posted that on my girls' chat, and then my girls messaged my husband, and he was like, you need to come home. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I need to come home, I am not well. So then I went out on leave for 3 months for PTSD and did a lot of EMDR with my therapist, and that was super helpful. um and then that fall was when I wrote my Am I the Asshole book that I am gonna have coming out here as a super special edition in June. I wrote in September of 2021. And then after that, in 2022, was when I wrote Bend Her, Break Her, and Make Her. Um, so I, and yeah, and then last year I did the Monster Security Agency books. And then this year I have like a lot of awesomeness planned for y'all. I just wanted to mark the occasion, I guess. 5 years is both a lot of time and not very much time at all. There are parts of me that are irreparably damaged from the stress that I went through, and the parts of my life and my trust in humanity that I will never get back. I usually try to keep things light on here. And mostly I am a much happier, lighter person than this. I think I just wanted to unburden myself some. So, yeah. So 5 years ago, me and several million other healthcare professionals were asked to do the unthinkable for an unimaginable stretch of time at high risk to our own lives, and several thousand of us died, and that was not appreciated necessarily by the populace or the government. And yeah, so I know why people who came back from World War II or Nam didn't really want to talk about it, because there's no point in talking about it with people who weren't there, because they don't actually understand what you went through. And they think they're interested, but they're not really interested. All they're interested in, so like 20 years from now, my memoir that I wrote, Year of the Nurse, 20 years from now, that, you remember how Chernobyl was like a really good TV show on HBO, and it was 20 years after Chernobyl, and then like a year and a half ago or so, there were all those Hurricane Katrina movies, and that was like 20 years. So the American populace requires like 20 years to digest anything fully and to be willing to look at it again and be represented. So I am calling it now. In 15 more years, my memoir, Year of the Nurse, will be a memoir that a TV show is based on, because I'm the only person who wrote about it authentically at the time. Not that there weren't other people who did a really good job. I mean, obviously, like Ed Yong was a powerhouse and stuff like that. But um, there are very few people at the nexus of being able to write stuff like cogently about, and like understanding what it was like and actually going through it and stuff. I threaded a very narrow needle of a Venn diagram there. So I don't say that with, I guess I am proud of it, because I'm really glad I wrote Year of the Nurse. But I mostly wrote it for myself to heal because I needed to do something with my own thoughts so that they would make sense, so that I could get them out of my head. And I've heard since that they offered a lot of people at the time a lot of solace, so that was good. It's very strange. I'm used to it now when I write a romance to write a book where everybody's like, "Oh, your book made me cry. It took me apart and it put me back together," which I love because I do like healing people. Obviously, that's like my whole game, right? But it is very strange to have people tell you that a book made them cry, and that book is literally about your own life. It's like, wow, yeah, my life made me cry a lot too. Then it was pretty effed up. So, anyways, here's to me and all the other healthcare professionals who made it through. I hope you're doing well. And I hope that whatever coping mechanisms you found to get through are serving you. And I hope that we never have to do anything like that again. Okay, bye.